10 more fun videos to watch on YouTube. Hi, how are you? I had so much fun talking to you about some of my favorite videos to watch on YouTube that I wanted to talk about 10 more. I mean, there's like a million of them, but here are 10 more that I really enjoyed watching because it's just like old scenes from TV shows that are just like, you gotta be kidding me, this was actually made? All right, so the first one I want to talk about is from the TV show Chips. All right, if you've never seen Chips before, you know, these two California highway officers on motorcycles, you know, cruise around on the highways in California and get in all kinds of adventures. And the first episode of their second season is called Peaks and Valleys. And it's, when did it happen? 1978. And it is the most wonderful moment in television history. It's just like, you gotta be kidding me. So there's Eric Estrada. It's Eric Estrada and who's the other guy? Oh no, Larry Wilcox. So Ponch and John. And Ponch, Eric Estrada, is at the end of the episode, he is disco dancing on a disco floor. And he is just tearing up that disco floor. Man, it is a scene. And that clip is on YouTube. And I'll try to attach that clip to a link to that in the video below, in this video below. So, but there's this whole other thing that's not on YouTube that you would have to go to a TV streaming service to watch, and I have to tell you about it because it's one of the most hilarious moments in television history. And I wish it was on YouTube. So, but the first part you can watch is Eric Estrada dancing, disco dancing. He's just causing a scene. It's the best. And then they go down and they sit with their double dates. So Ponch and John are on a double date at the disco dance club with these two ladies. And all of a sudden, this woman who's pregnant and her husband or boyfriend or whatever are walking across the disco floor. I don't know why a pregnant woman happens to be at the disco floor, and she goes into labor. She's walking across the disco floor and goes, and she collapses onto the disco floor and starts going into labor, having her baby on the disco floor. And Ponch and John jump up from their seats as they see something is wrong, and they run out and they kneel down to the lady, say, "What's wrong?" And John goes, "Ponch, I think she's going to deliver right here." He didn't do anything. He just looked at her dress. And apparently, because he's a highway patrol officer, he knows when a woman is going to go into labor on a disco floor. And so Ponch orders people to call a doctor and an ambulance and get towels and napkins. And then I timed this on the episode. She delivers her baby on the disco floor in 1 minute and 10 seconds. He says, "I think she's going to have the baby right here." And 1 minute and 10 seconds later, she has the baby. And John wraps it in some towels, and it's just like, what is happening? And then the DJ who's running the disco booth comes down and interviews them and says, "Who are you?" And they say, "We're highway patrol officers." And he says, "Yay!" And everybody applauds them. And then they go into the freeze frame. There's a freeze frame with Ponch, and then there's a freeze frame with John. And it's like the greatest moment in television history. It is so much fun. And I wish you could see that part on YouTube, but you would have to go to some kind of TV streaming service to find Peaks and Valleys, the episode of Chips, first episode of their second season. And I think it's worth your time. I think it's time well spent to see one of the greatest hilarious moments in television history, because it's just ridiculous. What is she doing at the disco club? I don't know. If you're that pregnant and you could go into labor, why are you at the disco club? I don't know. Anyway, if you happen to watch it, please let me know what you think. It's one of my favorite moments. And because I couldn't find it on YouTube, I just had to have it on DVD. Because I love the TV show Chips. It's pretty hilarious. All right, the second one I'm going to talk about, Little House on the Prairie. It ran for, I don't know, like 10 seasons? And in 1993, they had their final episode. And Michael Landon, who was running the show, and he played Pa, I don't remember his actual name, But Michael Landon was running the thing, and he said that in an interview that he didn't want anyone else, any other TV show or movie, using the sets from Little House on the Prairie. And the idea he came up with is to blow up the town with dynamite. So they created this story where some out-of-town business guy is going to take over the town. He bought Walnut Grove, and he's going to redo the town however he wants. And the town people don't like that, and so instead of handing him the town, they decide to blow up all the buildings. So they say to him, well, you bought the land, but you didn't buy the buildings. And so, at least I think that's how it goes. So there's a scene on YouTube, I think there's a couple of scenes of them hooking up the dynamite to all of these buildings in Walnut Grove that we've been watching for 10 years. And they blow them up with dynamite. Each of the characters, like, the owner of the store goes up and hooks up the wires to the dynamite and pushes down the thing, and it blows to smithereens. And, if you just like watching stuff blow up. Last time I recommended the exploding whale, and now I'm recommending the exploding town of Walnut Grove. Anyway, it's something to watch. Okay. I don't know if it's an ingenious idea of the way to end a series, but it certainly is an explosive one. So the next one I want to recommend is, Steve Martin in 1992, when the Johnny Carson show was still on. Steve Martin did this hilarious sketch called The Great Flydini, and he goes on the Tonight Show, and he is a magician of sorts. And he comes out in this, suit, and he lifts up the lapels of his suit coat, and he unzips his Flydini, and he proceeds to pull all kinds of various stuff out of his fly, neckerchiefs and all kinds of stuff. And I won't reveal it, but at some point you realize how he's doing this. And once you realize how he's doing this, it's absolutely genius. So I will try to give a link to The Great Flydini on The Tonight Show and let you watch it and enjoy it and figure out exactly how he's pulling this off, because that's part of the fun. Okay, the next I want to talk to you about is, Prince. Another video of Prince. In 1989, Batman came out. And Prince did most of the songs for the soundtrack. There was, Danny Elfman did the orchestral score, and Prince did all the songs. And he did Batdance, which I don't think was in the movie. It was just a separate song that he did called Batdance. And I highly recommend watching the music video for Batdance. The choreography, the suits, the lighting, the concept. It's Prince being Prince, and it's just fantastic. Fantastically spectacular. It's a scene, man. It's a scene. And if you watch it, please let me know what you think. It's just, oh man, I love Prince so much. And so it's so retro, it's amazing. Also in 1989, there was the American Music Awards. And I suggest watching the entire episode of the American Music Awards. But I won't, suggest that you totally do that. Because there's some really great stuff. There's some great commercials. And I think the whole episode is on YouTube if you want to watch it. It's hosted by Anita Baker, I think was the host, and Kenny Rogers, Debbie Gibson, and Rod Stewart. And there's some moments in that it's just, what? It's just so nostalgic. I mean, there's Debbie Gibson on top of her piano singing whatever Debbie Gibson song she sang, and Rod Stewart has some moments where he's just trying to really put on a show and be a showman, and he introduces the Judds, and he introduces them as the Judds. And he also introduces, what I would like you to watch is Tommy Conwell and the Young Rumblers. Tommy Conwell and the Young Rumblers. They're a rock and roll band, and they put on an incredible performance at the American Music Awards 1989, where he plays guitar and he's singing, and his voice is so hoarse. It's rar, 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 rar. And then he does his guitar solo by going out into the audience. And he walks out there and he goes around, and he passes Whitney Houston and I think Randy Travis and some other people in the audience, and he's playing his guitar solo. And I've never seen on any award show, somebody play a guitar solo by going out into the audience. And it's really cool. He's got a really cool guitar. And it's a scene. Tommy Conwell and a young Robles. Rod Stewart, man. And his hair, Rod Stewart's hair is up to here. It's insane. Anyway, I'll put a link to that. So number 6, Darth Vader versus the Energizer Bunny. If you've ever seen this came out in 1994. It was a ad for the Energizer Bunny that keeps going and going. And they did a scene from Star Wars where they are on the set of Bespin. I'm a Star Wars nerd, so like the Empire Strikes Back set where they put the Han in the carbonite freeze thing. So they're using that set. Instead of battling Luke, Darth Vader lightsaber battles the Energizer Bunny. And of course, the bunny wins. But it's really fun, and especially if you're a Star Wars fan and you haven't seen Darth Vader versus the Energizer Bunny. It's a scene, man. Okay, Mission Impossible Fallout, right? So they do this amazing car chase in Paris in the middle of that movie. And in the behind the scenes, I heard on some podcast, or I was watching the special of, behind the scenes stuff. And they said that one of the things that inspired them for the car chase in Mission Impossible Fallout was a very famous short film from France, directed by, I'm going to get this name wrong, I'm sorry, Claude Lelouch did a, he made a short film called C'était un rendez-vous. And I'm so sorry, it's the best way I could pronounce it. And it means it was a date. And it's this car chase. The entire short film is a car chase. Well, it's not being chased. It's a car zooming through and driving really fast through Paris. And I think they had to film it in the really early morning when there was no cars and traffic. And there's barely any cars on the road. And he drives the car really fast. And I think the car is mounted on the front of the car. So you're seeing it from the car's point of view. And it's really cool. It kind of reminds me of like when the opening scene of Steven Spielberg's Duel, where the cars or the truck is, the car versus the truck. If you ever seen Steven Spielberg's Duel, it's really cool. And how it opens up and the point of view from the car, it reminds me of this. So in C'était un rendez-vous, the car zooms through Paris and ends up meeting up with a woman, and because it's just someone driving to a date really fast in the morning. And I guess Tom Cruise and the director I can't remember his name, Christopher something. They watched that as a reference for the chase scene in Mission Impossible Fallout. So it's a really cool thing to watch. 1997, the DeBeers ads, the DeBeers Diamond commercials in 1997, they do some really cool stuff with shadows. And they have this classical music playing, da-da-da-da. And I always look forward to those ads. When an ad comes on and like talks and does something silly, it's kind of annoying. But when these came on, they had lovely music and the shadows. And I just thought, these are cool ads. And so they might be fun for you to watch. Number 9, 1988. Okay. The Bourne Identity wasn't just movies with Matt Damon. In 1988, The Bourne Identity was a TV movie starring Richard Chamberlain and Jacqueline Smith. And I'll include the trailer for it. But I remember this being on TV, and it's like, wait a minute, this isn't the James Bond. This isn't the Jason Bourne movie I remember. This is because it's got Richard Chamberlain. He's like, I don't remember who I am. And it looks nothing like it. It looks so cheesy in 1980s. Anyway, The Bourne Identity, the TV movie from 1988, might be kind of humorous for you to watch. Okay, what else we got? Okay, number 10, Shazam, the TV show. I had to buy it on DVD just to make sure I had it. I loved this show as I was a kid. So the thing about Shazam, I think they turned this into a movie, right? Weren't there 2 movies called Shazam? The thing about this TV show is that, so Billy Batson, I think is his name, he travels around in an RV with some old guy, and I guess they just drive around California looking to get in adventures, but they have some kind of device that lets them talk to, the Olympic gods in the sky for some reason. I don't know why they're driving around in an RV with a little device that lets them talk to the Olympic gods. I don't understand. But this is the show. So this is what passed for Saturday morning entertainment when I was a kid. So he drives around, and when they find some kind of situation where he needs to turn into a superhero, Billy Batson, he runs out into the woods and he yells, "Shazam!" And lightning comes down and he turns into a superhero. But this superhero is named Captain Marvel. So Shazam is not the name of the superhero. He's Captain Marvel. Shazam is just the word he says to turn into Captain Marvel. So before there was Captain Marvel, there was this Captain Marvel. And the actor who played Captain Marvel, he played the first season, and then a few episodes into the second season. And I guess there was some misunderstanding that they thought he left the set. I read this on Wikipedia, so I don't know if it's true. But there was some misunderstanding that he left the set and they thought he was trying to get more money. But maybe he was or wasn't, I don't know, allegedly. And then because there was a misunderstanding, they replaced him with another actor for the rest of the seasons. So there's 2 actors playing Shazam throughout the season. I think there's 3 seasons, but I just had to have the whole thing on DVD. Just to see, is it as good as I remember it? And it's just, it's funny. You know, when I was watching it as a kid, it was so cool. And then when you rewatch this stuff as an adult, it's like, what? What is the premise of this show? I don't understand. Anyway, it might be fun for you to watch. I'll try to include the opening trailer. And I'm going to give you a bonus, since some people in the comments were asking for 11. You gave us 10, we want 11. You know, like Spinal Tap, let's go to 11. So I'm going to give you an 11th recommendation as a bonus. The Bionic Woman ran for, oh gosh, I don't know, like 5 seasons. 1976, I think it's when it started. Bionic Woman, the start of the second season, she gets together with Bionic Man, and they do 2 episodes where the Bionic Woman and the Bionic Man versus Bigfoot and some aliens. And it's a scene, man. It's 2 episodes of the Bionic Woman fighting Bigfoot, and it is like the worst Bigfoot costume. It's worse than Bigfoot and Wild Boy. This is an even worse Bigfoot costume. And then it's got aliens, which is a bunch of guys dressed up in, onesies. And the sets are made out of cardboard with blinking lights, and it's the best, man. If you ever get a chance to watch, I don't know if the whole episode is on YouTube or you can find it on a streaming service, but I think they follow Bigfoot into a volcano at one point. And they jump out of a helicopter. Oh, it's great. Man, 1970s and 80s television was just insane. I mean, we had The Love Boat and Fantasy Island and all kinds of crazy stuff, and Knight Rider and The Fall Guy, and man, we just had the best television, or at least we thought it was the best. And so those are 11 wonderful videos that you could watch on YouTube. Chips, the disco scenes, and are going into labor. Little House on the Prairie blows up the town in 1983. Steve Martin's Flydini, Prince Batdance, Tommy Conwell and the Young Rumblers perform at the American Music Awards in 1989. Darth Vader versus the Energizer Bunny in 1994. Driving Paris, the C'était un rendez-vous car thing, short film. The 1997 DeBeers ad of Diamonds using shadows. The Bourne Identity TV movie in 1988. Shazam! TV series. And the Bionic Woman versus Bigfoot. I hope you enjoy these. I hope they bring back memories for you. And if you're seeing them for the first time, man, I would love to know what you think of these. Just these look backs at what passed for entertainment back in the 70s and 80s. I'd love to know your opinion. Anyway, thank you for joining me for another YouTube video. And next week we will talk about something really interesting. I don't know what, but we'll figure something out. All right, I want you to have a nice week, and I hope you have a nice week and have a great day. She delivers a baby on the disco floor. What? Freeze frame.